Hello and welcome everyone to today's Force 4 live stream. My name is James Tudor-Williams from Force 4, and talking to me today we have Mark Egerton from Gill Marine.
Hello.
How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
No problem. Thank you for joining us. Today, Mark and I are going to talk about their new OS3 and OS2 sailing suits from Gill for 2022. We're going to give an overview of each, breaking down their features, who they're aimed at, who might get the most use out of them. We're then going to go on to talk about the Xplore fabrics and Xpel coatings that are used on these suits and across the Gill range, bringing their well-known quality and durability across them. Mark, again, thank you for taking the time to join us today to talk about these Gill suits and the Gill fabrics and coatings. I'm sure most of the people tuning in today are more than aware of who Gill are and what they do. But for those that aren't, do you want to just give us a brief introduction to Gill Marine, who they are and where they came from?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much. Gill's been producing sailing, water sports clothing for the last 45 years now. We're based here in Nottingham in England. And as I say, it's been a development and involvement of what's actually needed for the water sports world. So yeah, thank you. As you can see coming across, we've got a wide range of products on the imagery being shown at the moment. And this is taking a lot of time and hard work from our design and performance team, who are always coming up with ideas. As soon as they've got one idea, they're on to the next. So it's great.
It's always the way. So for those tuning in to watch live, please feel free as always to ask us any questions in the live chat about any of the Gill clothing range, as well as what we're talking about today. If you're watching this on YouTube or on our Facebook pages at a later date, then you can just leave us a question in the comments and either Gill themselves will get back to you or Force 4 will get back to you. So Mark, let's get started with the OS3 suit. I'd say it's described, or I think of it more as an entry-level suit. But can you take us through it and break down some of the features of the OS3 jacket and the OS3 trousers, please?
Absolutely. However, I'll just pull you up there because entry-level isn't really how we describe the OS3 coastal suit. It is a coastal suit. It's designed to perform still in the hardest weather that the coast will bring you. So there's not really much entry about it. Okay. So as you can see there from the picture, we've got a number of colours, and there's obviously quite a number of features on the jacket. And if I'm holding here, this is the jacket that we saw in the picture there. And starting from the top, all coastal jackets still need a nice warm collar, nice high collar with a chin protection. They all have a high-vis hood, again, fully shaped and with the full peak on here and adjustable around the neck. So again, you're getting the full protection above the shoulders. Down through the arms, you've got the reflectives, and of course, you've still got all the requirements for storm cuffs in the cuff. So again,
so you've got a nice waterproof seal that you can tighten up nice around the wrist, keep yourself protected.
Absolutely, and that's again with coastal sailing. You still get big waves, you still get squalls coming in, and therefore it's still got to be a high performance jacket. What makes it a coastal jacket as opposed to an offshore jacket is the features rather than
the performance.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I know I said entry level. I think more of like a price point rather than the performance of it. Because what we always used to get told in the shops or asked in the shops, people coming in, it's like, well, water's just as wet by the coast as it is offshore. Water's wet wherever you are. So why are you differentiating between here, there, and everywhere? So hopefully we can sort of clear that up to some people.
Yeah, so absolutely. And that's the point. So this fabric, again, is a very hard wearing fabric, a little bit lighter weight, but very hard wearing fabric for coastal sailing. The cut is slightly different as well. So we've got a slightly higher front and a lower back. Again, that just helps movement around on and off the boat, as well as using it right across the variety of activities. So again, this jacket's cut for sailing, motorboating, on a rib, on a small dinghy off out to shore or inland. So right across the spectrum there, but also great as an onshore jacket going off to a restaurant, hanging about on the beach, even walking the dog. So it is a fully flexible jacket. Okay. Yeah. What we have on here is the nice deep hand warming pockets, so you can still carry bits and pieces with you, and it's got a double fastening on there. And also, if I come a little bit closer to the screen, we can see the new zip that we've put on here, which is the Aqua Guard zip. And this zip no longer require all the Velcro. And therefore,
okay, so you've taken, by using that zip, you've been able to use like the storm flap off the front.
That's right. Lose the storm flap off the front, but we have an internal storm flap, which again is waterproof, but it means we don't have to have all the Velcro. And the Velcro very much is brilliant for tucking yourself away once you're offshore. However, it gets a little bit annoying when you're on and off the boat or up and out of the boat all the time. It often gets stuck in hair, and all kinds of hair gets stuck in that. So, so that's another great feature of this jacket is the AquaGuard zip.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the 2-layer fabric, which we'll come into later. And so it has a drop membrane here, and it also has the internal security pocket as well. So you get 2 nice warm pockets on the outside and a great security pocket on the inside.
Brilliant.
So it comes in the different colors as we've seen. And then if we talk about the trouser again is the 2-layer hard-wearing fabric. They come with the adjustable Velcro braces. Obviously, being a trouser, it's slightly higher cut as well. However, we've got the full zip, the full front zip there, which opens up. However, it's still got a waterproof gusset behind there, so you're not going to get any water ingress from there.
Nice.
Okay. And then also looking at the back of the trouser, what we've got is a full reinforced seat, which again is waterproofed. And we've got the little hanging tag slightly higher up. So often or not, you can hang the trousers out of the water, because hanging them by the braces, they often sit down in the bottom of the boat. So
yeah, that's quite cunning. That's a good point. So like you say, if you hang it from the top, the cuffs or the ankles are always swinging around on the deck. They're just picking up dirt and more water.
Yeah, or just sitting in the water in the locker down below. So
yeah,
coming to the front, we've got the reinforced knees, and of course, round the bottom, we've got the Velcro adjustments, which can be adjusted to bring it in nice and tight round the top of the boot or shoe or ankle, depending on what you're wearing.
Nice.
And as I say, this has been developed to be used for all the environments in and around the coast, and slightly lighter weight, but again, as I say, easier to wear.
Yeah, I mean, that sort of leads me on to my next question, where like I called it an entry-level suit. You've corrected me there. You know, it's clearly packed full of great features that you'd find on most other suits. What you sort of touched on to me that makes sense as to why it's sort of coastal, or I guess it sounds casual. If you're not like a week in, week out sailor, you're a fair weather sailor like myself, and in an ideal world, you don't have to wear any weather gear. But even in the best of times, best of plans, you get caught out by the weather. That's something that's easy to put on. It's not bulky. You don't feel smothered in it. You can move about nice and easily. So it's just sort of every now and then sailor. You're not living in it. Like you say, coastal, dinghy, inshore sailing, ribbon powerboat, and just walking around. Yeah,
I mean, again, it is hard wearing, so you can use it a lot if you're off coastal sailing. And again, I just want to come back to that point. The performance of the fabrics, which we'll come on to later, mean that if you go off for a couple of days, then fine, this suit will be fine. It's the features of it are more suited to coastal. But don't worry, if you find yourself in the heavy weather, you're gonna be fine. Yeah.
Brilliant. So let's move on to it's not the entry-level suit, but the next stage from Gill, the OS2. If we go on OS3, go into OS2. Can you do the same thing for us there? Can you break down the jacket and the trousers and highlight some of the features that make the OS2 stand out?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we have the OS3, which we've just seen. We have the OS2 jacket, which is the Offshore, OS2 Offshore. We also have the OS1 jacket. So there is three suits in this range, which will cover the full breadth of sailing requirements. And however, the OS2 is a fantastic jacket because it sits really between the two. So it's easy enough to wear and comfortable enough to wear for a bit of coastal sailing. But if you get out into the weather, it's still absolutely bomb-proof for multiple days at sea. So it comes with a slightly heavier fabric, a few more features, which we'll go through, in a range of colours there that you can see on the screen. This is, again, uses our Xplore Fabric that we'll talk about, and also it's got some other nice features that we'll get on. So I'll get through the normal features pretty quickly. If we can move on from the picture. And so, as we can see from here, the jacket is the classic style of jacket, slightly longer in length than the OS32 Coastal, which allows some other features to come through. However, if we start again at the top, we've got a full hood, peaked with a nice gutter on the top. We've also got the reflectives now, a little bit more reflectives because that's obviously something that may be needed more if you're offshore. So reflectives on the arms and on the sleeves and on the top of the hat there. Okay. The adjustable hood can be stowed away into the collar, and the collar is a nice high cut to this. And if we come in, you can see its face panel goes right across there. Again, just giving that extra protection.
And that's a fleece line collar like the OS32, so you can really like get yourself nice and tucked away.
Yeah, nice in there. And as we say, the nice high-shaped collar here is slightly higher than previous, and therefore just gives you that little bit more support as well around the side and around your ears, which wind in ears is never great. Okay. No. So because this is for more offshore, you're going to be spending more time at the helm, and therefore there's some sort of more features required, because you sometimes have to be a little bit more dependent if you're going to be on the helm all, for hours and hours upon time. So initially, we've got chest pockets here, so we can put our hands in and tuck down out of the weather. Nice. We've also got the classic cargo pockets here, which nice and deep. You can keep all sorts of things in there with a full flap over the top. So, from protein bars or multi-tool, so on and so forth, to pieces of string, whatever you need. We also have a little attachment in there to actually fix onto a multi-tool, because that's something you don't want to lose. They're getting expensive. Okay. But also we have the classic hand pockets here as well. And this is something that, again, for sitting, keeping warm is vital. Again, these are fleece lined. What we have done is we've moved the zip from this area on this pocket, if anybody knows the previous OS2 jacket, and we put the zip onto here to secure these pockets. Yeah. That allows these pockets to be secured pocket, obviously, but also just takes a bit of bulk out of the jacket, and you're not resting your hands on a zip. So we think that's a real good update and change that the design team have done on that.
And also thinking about it, if you had a zip there and you've got your life jacket on, it's just another thing pushed down, wearing across the chest that might not be the most comfortable in the world, depending on whatever life jacket you're wearing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. This jacket is, again, as we open it up, this is the 2-layer fabric, which we'll come on and talk about, everybody. And again, with the drop lining and the internal zipped pocket. Okay. And there we have the OS2. We call it OS25 now.
I was going to say, sorry. So like the OS3, that's adjustable around the waist as well. It's got like the hem so you can cinch yourself in. Absolutely,
yeah. The adjustments is in the pocket. Nice. So again, you can really make that a comfortable fit.
Brilliant.
And also around the bottom there.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, brilliant.
Does that cover that, do you think, James?
I think we've covered the OS. I think we've covered the jacket. Talk to us about the trousers. What's going on with the OS2 trousers?
again, like with the whole range, we've got men's and ladies in the OS2 and the OS3, and this is the men's salopette. Again, the same fabric as the jackets, so fully waterproof, breathable, reinforced knees, double reinforced seat. And what we've actually done here, the team have added in a stretch panel on the back, which helps with a little bit more movement, ease of movement. So you can adjust them to fit, and then you've got that little bit of extra movement for when bending over and stretching and things like that.
That's clever. That's nice. Yeah,
it's an excellent system. It's on our Race Fusion salopettes that we've been doing, so it's been tested fully to the limit with that. So that's great. But also keeping warm. You're not always wearing your jacket, are you? So we've got nice hand warming pockets on either side of the central zip here. And again, we've got a full gusset on there to make sure no water ingresses. We have the leg pocket on here.
Yeah.
Again, we've got a tool holder on the leg here as well. So we can use that for attaching all sorts of things, really. Especially the webcam now, we have to video it.
Nothing like a little bit of GoPro Fi cam, I have to say.
Yeah. So reinforced knees, and then as we come down to the bottom of the trousers, we've got the adjustment at the bottom, but also if you can see there, we've got a reinforcement around the bottom of the trouser, which is just helps wear the trousers a lot longer. This does get a lot of abuse, and so it's an added feature that really helps the longevity of the jacket. Of the trouser.
Well, yeah, it's a weird thing for people to think about. I mean, you obviously just getting wet and being worn is enough for, like, you'd expect the general wear and tear of these garments, but the fact that when you're on a boat, particularly sailing boats, I mean, obviously these can be worn on powerboats and ribs, but if you're on a sailing boat and you're scrambling around on your hands and knees or just moving about the deck, like, those non-slip surfaces are pretty aggressive, so you don't slip, but subsequently they can also sort of impact what you're wearing.
Yeah, absolutely. And this, again, when you pick up the OS2 with the OS3, there is a slight little weight difference. And again, fabrics not only have to cope with just the wind and the rain, they have to cope with physical so, as you say, clambering around, sitting down, and also the physical battering of water hitting you. So again, a lot of waterproof fabrics don't need to deal with waves hitting you. So this is a very important element of the fabrics that we'll talk about. Yeah.
Nice. And so you said the OS2 comes in men's and ladies. The ladies' trousers are a different style to the men's trousers, my understanding.
That's correct. Fundamentally, exactly the same. The whole process is exactly the same. What we don't have is a stretch back on there, because these trousers come with a drop seat at the back. And again, what is great about this drop seat is that it's that simple, and you can carry on wearing the trousers, because the brace is at either side of that drop seat, so which is, I know, can be a problem. Also on the front, because we haven't got the front zip, we've got a very nice kangaroo pocket on here, which nice. I'm quite jealous of already. Nice bin there, and so that allows that. As I say, we haven't got the extra panel on there because of the drop seat, but yeah, I think the feature of the hand warming pocket on the front is a winner on that.
Yeah, nice waistline kangaroo pocket. Again, like you say, if you're tucked up, keep it snug. As
I say, it's got still got the tool holder, the leg pocket, the complete reinforced knees, and all the way through. So it's constructed in exactly the same way.
Yeah. Brilliant. So if the OS3 is the slightly lower spec suit, I say lower spec, it's marginal. Who is the OS2 aimed at then? And what sort of person would you think would be looking at or considering the OS2 suit or jacket or trousers?
Yeah, the as I say, refresh on the OS3. It's very much designed with the features for coastal, whereas the OS2 is very much designed for a longer periods of time at sea. And therefore, as I say, you're going to have to cope with worse weather. I don't know how many weather forecasts we've come across that are actually right. All amount of planning goes out of the window, so you really need that extra benefit of everything being a little bit heavier to cope with that pressure.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're sailing generally offshore, then you definitely want an OS2. The OS2 really sits in the middle between the coastal and the ocean.
Yeah.
So is one of our main selling jackets because of the flexibility of its use. It's still lovely and flexible and to wear, so it's still easy to wear, but obviously the coastal is designed to be a little bit more casual, easier on and off. This one is with the Velcro zip, with the Velcro flap, so you can really tuck yourself up out of the way and really protect yourself for long periods of time on the helm. So yeah.
Yeah, I get so like the OS3 has that slightly more casual cut of like not height, but your typical sort of rain jackets, whereas the OS2 has that slightly oversized cut to offer you that more protection, room underneath to layer up. I mean, obviously there'll be room under an OS3 to layer up as well, but it's just that bit bulkier to give you a bit more protection.
I mean, absolutely. When you're buying a jacket, always think about having some room underneath so you can layer up, so you're not having to get cold on a cold day. It doesn't matter, it can always get colder. So yeah, when you're fitting and trying these jackets on, it's always worth just going up a size, seeing how that feels. Obviously, you don't want it all big and baggy, but having that space, and that's really down to fitting, and that's where the expertise of Force 14 that I come across when I'm in store, comes into it. Listen to these guys when getting them fitted.
Yeah, I mean, my top tip whenever anyone came into the store and was trying on these jackets or these clothes is pick up one of the, if you're not wearing what you might be wearing underneath, we have Gill fleeces, you have these mid layers and things that you might be wearing underneath. Put one of those on before you try on the jacket, just to make sure you've got that movement, flexibility, the room to do what you want to be able to do in it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Or come prepared, it's not often you walk into a shop and go, oh, let's buy an OS.
It's not often, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, go in with a layer or two that you like to wear and try it on. Take your time, enjoy the stores. Yeah,
brilliant. So whilst you were talking and going through the OS3 and the OS2 suits, you mentioned a lot there, the Xplore fabrics that you're using, these 2-layer fabrics. I know also Gill this year, or for this range, has developed an Xpel, your own coating. Can you talk to us a bit about those? Can you explain the Xplore fabrics that you've been talking about? Yes,
absolutely. As you can see here, coming up on the screen, you've got a picture of 2 layers of fabric, and that's what we're talking about, 2 layers of fabric. So the outer layer has a bonded membrane onto it, and this allows for water to stop water coming through, but it has very small holes fundamentally in it, which will allow the air to pass out. Imagine a very small microscopic tea bag sort of situation, because water particles are bigger than air particles, and therefore air can pass through the smaller hole rather than water particle coming in. And we measure these fabrics in different ways, and a pretty standard way is to describe it via its hydrostatic head. And the value of hydrostatic head is down to how much water pressure or weight of water on that fabric it will take before it actually forces its way through. So yeah, if you have a fabric with a 2,000, 3,000 hydrostatic head, that sounds quite good, doesn't it? And tents, mountain tents are often 4,000 hydrostatic head. Our jackets are all sort of 14,000 above. And
right.
So yeah, so when I talk about the OS OS3, it's a coastal jacket, but it's still over 14,000 hydrostatic head. There's lots of technicality into this, which would probably change this video into quite a boring sort of affair. But yeah, think about Gill. Even the coastal gear is 3 or 4 times more waterproof than most tents that you buy. So yeah, it's going to keep you dry. The 2 layer sits in between the sort of hierarchy of fabrics. We have a 1 layer. Some companies use a 1 layer, and then we can go through 2 layer, and actually we have 3 layer in our ocean range, which gives the extra protection to the membrane and allows air again to move about, and also stops moisture sitting on the inside of the jacket if it does. So yeah, but again, that's really for a substantial product and really for sort of serious time on the water. So whereas the 2 layer is just a fantastic fabric that's still nice and flexible, easy to wear, and it's going to give you 20,000 plus hydrostatic head while still being breathable.
Oh, perfect! Impressive stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, I know Gill have always done a lot of in-house development. I mean, the Xplore Fabric is an in-house Gill development. You haven't licensed it from anyone else. This is all done by yourselves.
Yeah, I'd like to say it's all done by me, but again, it's the performance and design team who do all the hard work. And whilst we're talking about the fabrics, I don't know if we could move to how we make the fabrics.
Oh, well, so, I mean, I know I was going to come to it a bit after we talk about the coatings, but we can talk about now. It seems sensible to move on. I mean, I know even 3, 4, 5 years ago, there was a lot of pressure on manufacturers and clothing brands, and especially in the marine industry, to go greener and develop recycled fabrics and things like that. So what I'm guessing Gill have done something with the OS2 using recycled fabrics.
Yeah, absolutely. We all know the situation with plastics generally, but plastics in the sea is, we see it when you're out sailing. You see it about. I've never been fortunate enough to sail into some tropical, beautiful cove or bay, but when I watch YouTube, I watch people get onto the beach, and it's just, the tide line is full of plastic, and therefore it makes sense that the marine industry really looks at this as closely as possible, and so. The team has been working really hard for a long time. We've been looking at ways of introducing environmentally friendly elements to our clothes, and this is now the pinnacle. The new OS2 offshore jacket is now 98% recycled fabric.
No way.
The main ingredient is from PET bottles, plastic bottles, and there's around 14 used for each jacket. There are also other recycled fibers and things like camera lens material. I'm not quite sure how all that goes, but believe me, it's as I say, it's 98% recycled, and yet it still goes through all the tests, because this has to be an offshore sailing jacket. This has to work. This has to be the Gill product that we've sold for the last 40 years, and it is, and we're very, very proud. And I love talking about it because I'm very proud of this.
No, it's great. I think if people want to check it out, I know that we've got the video on the product itself, but Gill YouTube channel, they have a great video about the recycled fabrics and the development that they've done for it. It's worth checking out. It is very impressive. Yeah. And like you say, to develop a product that performs still, even though it's all well and good being recycled and nice, but if it doesn't do the job, then it's going to end up recycled again itself. So it's good to see that you've managed to take a problem and produce a quality product from it. And like you say, somewhere down the line, you'll start recycling those into new jackets, and you've got this self-contained environment.
Yeah, I mean, technology is moving on all the time. We're still looking at how we can recycle the recycled jacket. But as you know, Gill jackets last for a very long time. So we've got quite a while what to do and how to develop that over the next 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My old Gill jacket was 10 years old. So, it's something that, again, that we're focused on and moving forward. It'd be great if we can get a circular recycle. And we're definitely working for it. Okay.
Another new thing that I know that you've done for this year, like you talked about the Xplore fabrics and developing those, and obviously the recycled fabrics for the OS2 is the Xpel coatings that you've come up with for this season.
Yeah,
like you use those in a pretty unique way.
Yeah, we actually put this new treatment on fabrics last year. So they've been out in the market performing excellently well. So we're very confident with that. It's called Xpel, and it's a plant-based CFC-free formula that is chemical-free, and it's actually impregnated into the fabric itself.
Okay, so it's not like a sprayed layer on top, like how I'd expect to like re-waterproof something myself. You just get a can of whatever and sort of spray it on. It's actually like soaked into the fabric and almost part of the fabric, that coating. Yeah,
it's part of the manufacturing process, and so therefore it's in there. Traditionally, the fabric is made and then sprayed, or the jacket is made and then sprayed, whereas this is part of the manufacturing process. And in fact, when you come to wash a jacket, all you need to do when you dry it is to put in a very low heat on a tumble dryer, and it's the warmth and the heat that reinvigorates the treatment.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we test all our stuff endlessly. Larry in the office is brilliant at this, and she tests everything. And we tested this jacket being washed 30 times, and the treatment was still good. But typical Gill, we went on and they tested it up to 50 times. At which point now, I could put my hand up and say, I've never washed my jacket 30 times, no wonder 50. So, so again, we're just really pleased with that. Yeah, it's really fantastic.
No, it's nice, and it's good that it's, again, in keeping with that sort of recycled and that green message, you found this entirely plant-based, trying to limit the amount of chemicals going back out into the world in that way. So that's quite cool.
Yeah. No, absolutely, and I think we were ahead of that, launching that last year, and it's going very well. Yeah.
Nice. Mark, I think we've basically covered everything that we wanted to. We've gone through the OS3, the OS2 jackets. We've explained their fabrics and composition, the Xpel, the sort of performance you're going to get from them. Is there anything you want to add before we go that we haven't touched on that we've missed?
Not particularly on that. Obviously, Gill has a huge range right across whatever your water you're on, whatever you're doing, whatever the weather. We have garments for that, and they're all readily available through Force 4. We've seen a big movement in the market to other areas as well, and because of the Gill product, it's well designed, well made. It's such a flexible that we're finding the water sports, canoeing and kayaking and so forth, all using our products, which is perfect. They're perfect for any use, really. So, but yeah, thank you very much for letting me come and talk to you all. Hopefully you've enjoyed the last half an hour or so, and thank you very much to Force 4 and all the stores, and I hope to see you all out there at some point.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Mark, for taking the time to talk with us today. Really appreciate it. I found it entertaining and enlightening, if no one else has. Elise, just want to thank you for putting up the pictures, running the show behind the scenes for us there. Thank you to everyone who's taken the time out of your day to tune in and watch us. Hope you found it enjoyable and enlightening, and we'll see you next time.